Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Podcast Reviews Edition. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. Uh, Person seeing in camera center or screen center is our dude from our daddy from the Philippines, CHUBAX. How are you doing?
What's up? Tired, but good.
Always, always. And on your screen right, waking at an ungodly hour to hang out with us is Arnie. How are you doing, Arnie?
Hello there. I'm doing fine. A bit under the weather, but I'm okay.
Uh,
Still working,
and
even with the under the weather.
Yep.
Of course.
Damn.
And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Thank you very much. The Plus 63 HP stable of podcasts include a review show. This one that drops usually Mondays and Tuesdays, where we review, deep dive, and give an opinion if you should watch a particular TV series or movie. This week we have, uh, you know, I guess an interesting. I'm very curious on how my brothers uh provide opinions about this show, but we will be discussing the new Marvel Spotlight, a 5 episode drop of Echo in Disney Plus. On Wednesdays, we have or we usually drop our very first D&D campaign. So a couple of 40-year-old dudes with a lady play our first D&D campaign. We record it, we upload it to YouTube for posterity and for your entertainment. And if you'd like to join our adventure. It has been fun. It's been 2 years now, and we're still going strong. And we're finally getting some people kind of like enjoy the adventure with us. So please join along. You don't have to know anything about D&D. It's been 2 years. I still don't know a lot about it, and but we're still enjoying. On Thursdays, we have a collection of or curated list of trailers, short videos, featurettes, clips that we react to, and we see how hyped we are for that upcoming content. So if we like it, we give it a plus. If we're not gonna drop, we're gonna watch it, or we're not super excited with it, we're gonna give it a minus. And on Fridays, on occasion, Chubax and our other bestest best friend RJ can't get enough of D&D, so they spun off a second campaign where they are bad guys. And that's pretty much the roster of our show. So most of the days of the week you'll have new content coming dropping up for us. You can follow us on socials with the handle at plus 63. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X. And we are also streaming or streaming live our recordings of these shows on weekends. So if you are in the United States, Saturdays and Sundays morning, anywhere between, let's say, 9 in the morning till 12 Eastern, we will be recording all of these shows on Twitch or streaming it on Twitch. So twitch.tv/ plus 63HP. Join us. It's fun. Interact with us while we uh, 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 ramble across all of the things that we're trying to discuss. Housekeeping done. Before we deep dive into Disney Plus's Echo miniseries, we always want to start off with a non-spoilery instant reaction about the series for people that haven't watched the series yet. So, if you haven't watched the series, but you still want to discuss with us, pause this video right now, pause this podcast, go watch the entire series and come back and see if our opinions align. So, before we go into the beat by beat synopsis of Echo, let's start with initial reaction, instant reaction, general reactions to the show. Arnie, what did you think of the 5 episode Echo series?
Well, my first general reaction.
General reaction.
Yeah. I liked it. First three episodes, great. Unfortunately, I think and a lot of the reactors and even online they mentioned that it was supposed to be 6 episodes, but the budget ran out or it was cut, so the last 2 episodes suffered a little bit. But I liked it.
Uh, Chubax?
I enjoyed a lot of it. Just had some not I guess issues with some of the things that they chose to do. But
Mm.
I do love Maya. I have to say I love her. I
Oh,
love her actress.
Maya.
I love her character. I love the Kingpin. So I enjoyed it. Just have some issues.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited to discuss those issues with you because I had my issues as well in terms of choices with the character, and much like what Arnie has mentioned, really enjoyed like very strong first few episodes. Very strong episode by episode beat.
Mm-hmm.
Love the family, love the characters. I mean, I do want to discuss the fact of of Maya being Maya being so loved by the community. So we'll discuss
Mm.
that later. Uh, but yes, the thing is like I'm not sure on the ending or the
Mm.
last few episodes.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm still like a week departed. I still don't know if it's good or not. In general, though, I actually like the 5 episode
Mm-hmm.
series.
format.
I love it's super short, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to watch. The action was a step up, and this is one of those things where I know we talk about when we watch shows if they overextend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we kind of don't like it. If you're a reacher where you're just do your thing,
Fuck yeah.
don't be too deep, just make it fun. So this because it's Marvel and it's Marvel Spotlight, they have to have that added layer of extra. I think they did a little too much, but not overly complicated. So it's
Mm.
still like if you just want to sit down, open your eyes, um, you're gonna enjoy it. There is, just the nature of being Marvel. There is some homework that you need to do, and if you really want to enjoy the series,
Though
like
I think
there's
the first episode did a great job
Yeah.
of
it did. That's the thing too. That's
cutting
why
that homework down,
I think
Yeah.
or
in
even
terms of first
eliminating it in a sense.
yeah, in terms of first episodes, this was a very good recap first episode where
Mm.
you recap other series like Hawkeye, you recap Maya's origin story in terms of how, she was, become a muscle and why she was good, etc., etc. So I think they did a
But not
really
in a recap way.
not in
Yeah.
the recap. It's
That
totally
was
new.
the
Well, that's a good thing too because Maya in Hawkeye, Maya did not have an origin story. She had a little bit,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but
So they cut it. They got the little origin she had there, and then they added around it to make it
mhm,
Yeah.
more linear. So that was great. I was proud of. I was
yeah,
really glad for that and amazed that they were able to do that.
yeah,
Yep.
and yeah, that's the thing too. But again, I think this is one of those uh good, not great. But it was fun. So we'll again for if you haven't seen the series and want to join us in this discussion and pause the podcast. Watch it's 5 episodes, super quick. It's like half
Mm.
an hour ish each episode, anywhere between like 37 to yeah. The last few episodes was a little bit long. It was like almost an hour, but that's just one episode. So come back. All right. We're now going to dive into spoiler territory. So again, Echo is a 5 episode Marvel Spotlight series that dropped both in Disney Plus and on Hulu on January 9th, 2024. It stars Alakwa Cox, which is kind of great because she's not only an amputee, but she is an actual deaf person, So
Mhm.
in Echo is a
And
character
native
and Native American,
and it,
Yeah.
right?
so she's like
This
Echo.
was
She
kind
is
of
Echo.
it was she was Echo Plus because in the comics, Echo was not an amputee.
Yes, I don't think so.
So
Mm.
that was watching a lot of interviews
Interview.
of Alakwa Cox. That was her concern because like all of her friends wanted her because like, hey, a deaf mute martial artist, go audition. But she always had even she herself was like, I'm an amputee. It's not, I don't know if they're gonna go even that route too, but I think that highlighted her skills even more. So, Vincent D'Onofrio, reprises
Yes.
his role as Kingpin. He is Kingpin.
Yeah.
So good.
He's the weird pacing and quiet but loud and angry. I just love him.
He, ju-
As usual,
he just
what?
brings vulnerability to a
Yeah.
badass, right? You know, it's like
For some reason, he humanizes Kingpin.
yeah, it's like he
Y-
shows. You can see his weakness, like he's kind of mumbling. It's like a dork in a
Yeah.
sense, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the bullied
No, that's
kid.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Like, but
Yeah.
he is.
fuck
That's
you
a
up.
great way to. I never really thought it that way, but like that's a great way to discuss it because
Yeah.
his dorkiness, his nerdiness is the thing that made him Kingpin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
develop that armor. So
Yeah.
there were a couple of like really so it's beyond us, although we're people of color, it's beyond us to speak truly deeply in terms of the Native American culture. But
Yeah.
from what we've seen in in the series, it's very, very well represented. How accurate it was, we
The
don't know
Choctaw.
at
Choctaw
the
Nation.
but at the end of the series, like they had like a nice splash screen saying that the Choctaw Nation was heavily involved in the creation of this series, and so all the
Yeah.
things that we see, the games, the rituals, the festivals,
The Light
both in the Native,
Horseman.
right, both in the Native American sense, but
Yeah.
also in the Oklahoman sense, was hopefully well represented. So just a few of the actors that they have is that they have Chasky Spencer, Henry Black, Crow Lopez,
Yeah.
uh, Tantu Cardinal, Maya's strange grandmother. Her name's Chula, also
Chula.
highly, very, very much authentic Native American. Charlie Cox had like a new scene here in the first
Hmm.
episode, which kind of great. I was very surprised that they dropped a lot of stuff in the episode.
And it's
Daredevil
the
was there.
original armor, the Netflix armor.
Yeah, but this was
Because the
because this was
timeline,
during the early time,
yeah, it
right?
was
Yeah.
early.
Mm. Yeah.
No, but I mean, because earlier, I don't know, She-Hulk, he didn't use the Daredevil armor
No,
in
because
Netflix. He had that.
when he
That's
appeared
after.
Yeah,
here, it's in the early
exactly.
scene. It
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
because
like
before they
it
were
was
not, because before, remember, the Netflix, Marvel, Netflix were not canon. Now I
yeah,
think
but now
it's
they
they're
did.
Yep,
they're leaning
exactly.
towards canonizing the
That's
and
I'm just
yeah.
happy that they corrected that shit, and we
Yeah.
finally got a scene on Twitter also of Matt walking with Foggy and
Foggy, yeah.
Karen
They
Yes.
shooting,
restarted
and yeah,
reshoots, right? So
The
I
whoever.
mean, but
avocados are long.
yeah, the good thing about it is like also like they have an out. So when the executive mentioned like officially canonizing the Netflix Marvel series, he still had an out that they might change a few things. Like,
Yeah.
That's fine.
so I wouldn't be surprised if they just like brush off Iron Fist, but keep
Or or maybe Colleen Wing is Iron Fist.
we
I'm just
we
happy that
also
somebody knocked some heads, and they had to
Yeah.
reassess and stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess like they needed time to like see how Echo
Yeah.
gets written. So it's very difficult to write Echo without canonizing some Netflix
Daredevil.
stuff. It's
But
also like
Yeah.
some
they
idiot
have
decided that
20
they
18
did.
episodes of Daredevil Born Again. So that's a lot. So maybe during the course of building it, they really realized like how we can't just like brush stuff off. We need to
Yeah.
canonize some things. But they still need to clear some stuff because
Yeah.
Mahershala
Plus,
Ali is Blade. And he's
yeah,
also Copperhead in
Cottonmouth,
Cottonmouth in
Luke
Luke
Cage.
Cage. So
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed at some point. So um
Yeah. Plus, by canonizing at least Daredevil, they don't have to rehash the origin story, so they could just splice some
yeah.
scenes
Mhm.
from from that Netflix show,
Yeah.
and maybe update it to the 616 MCU style or whatever.
They have an army of writers that are getting paid to make sure that these things is as close. It's never gonna be perfect because
Yeah.
whatever they do, but I'm happy
Yeah.
that at least like right. Generally it's canon. They might change stuff. They have Daredevil
Yeah.
back. They have Punisher back. They have Jessica Jones
Yeah.
back. Luke
Yep.
Cage is actually not confirmed yet, and
He's called for,
of
yeah.
course Danny Rand or Iron Fist not confirmed yet. But yeah, coming back to the Echo series, the series is fairly simple. So
Mm,
this happens 5 months after the events of the last season of Daredevil. So, oh, sorry, of Hawkeye. At the
mhm,
end of Hawkeye, concentrating on the Maya Kingpin relationship. Maya shoots
mm.
fucking Kingpin in the face.
because she
In the
found out that
face.
he had his dad killed.
Yeah. So he is.
Her dad
She's now.
killed.
Yeah, she's now touted as the king killer. So she is technically on the run from, for the lack of the better term, the tracksuit mafia. Anything that is under Wilson Fisk's hand is after her for shooting Kingpin in the face. It seems like it though that even with Kingpin dead, the Kingpin mechanism is still
Mhm.
running like a machine, which is I actually that's
A
the nerdy part
testament,
of me that
a
Yeah.
testament to Kingpins.
Like there was no power vacuum, huh? There's like,
but
yep,
all,
we're still running.
it's there are like so during the season we'll talk about all the heads of the houses, but the idea of it is this is an enterprise. In the
Mhm,
end, like you can be the thuggiest thug, you can be the most powerful superhero, but the mechanism of the machine is the one that keeps the machine going. So it
mhm,
doesn't matter if you're super rich, if you're a sucky businessman. So this one it means like, hey, even like the in the middle episodes when we're well, so before I get to that, so Maya's on the run. She comes back home to Oklahoma to lay low, get a little help, but also what she really is trying to do is totally topple the kingpin system from the inside. Like that's what
mhm,
she wants to do. Like she has this notion that she might be the queen pin. Like, why
mhm,
not? Right? She killed the dude, so she wants to lay low and plan stuff out. During the first few episodes, the things that we want to kind of like highlight is every episode has a name,
mhm.
like a Native American name. We don't know it yet in the earlier episodes, but what those names represent. But essentially, every episode starts with a flashback of a kind of like a Choctaw native, like an origin story,
The
where these
ancestor.
women have some additional abilities that has come from the ancients, right? So
Mhm.
that's kind of like in the first episode, that is the most magical,
Mystical.
most
Yeah.
mystical
Yeah.
version of this. So as you go through episode by episode, goes through different generation, goes through different women having special abilities, and their abilities kind of change. How does that come into play? Well, no, actually. But the good thing about the first episode, again, it's chocked with additional origin stories where there's a flashback on why so one why Maya became one of Kingpin's top henchmen because she, Maya was like Kingpin, she had a lot of rage in her, but not channeled properly. Kingpin channeled
Mm.
it into other bad stuff. So he channeled
Productive.
her bad
Uh,
stuff to productive bad
She's just
stuff. So she
amazing.
became kind of like an understudy in terms of Wilson Fisk's henchmen, and in one of their employees, one of their shady businesses, they run into Daredevil, and Maya was able to go toe to toe with him, last as long as she did, and she wasn't actually beaten by Daredevil. So that was the one that kind of caught Wilson Fisk's eye, and then continued her tutelage, his tutelage of Maya. So that's kind of episode one. A lot of about episode one is showing her origin, the mystical powers of this Native American. In this, the first episode is Chafa, but also a lot of it was putting the seeds on why Maya was estranged with her family in 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 Oklahoma. So she came in, just hung out with Biscuit. So we go along. Again, this is in episode one. Also, we kind of like been shown that Fisk has recovered from her injuries, like his injuries, which is being shot in the eye. Which is, I still do want to know, like they need to explain that a little bit more. You got shot in the face, like right? I mean, the eye is like so close to the brain, or like even if
Yeah.
you look at on the side, like.
Yeah. Mutant.
But again, the thing with Kingpin is like they're really, really they harp on the fact that Kingpin has no mutant powers yet. He's just 400 pounds of New York muscle.
Yeah.
So all right,
Well,
okay.
in Hawkeye, what he was bombed, electrocuted. I mean, seriously, he got through all that stuff, right?
I think he deserves to be Kingpin, but
Yeah.
I'll move on to episode 2. We see another flashback now in Alabama, 1200 AD, person named Loak, another tribe. So
Mhm.
this is more of like we see a tribe playing some form of game, kind of like
Lacrosse.
an ancient type of rugby slash football. And then we see this person, let's say, Loak, be able to kind of like burst out with power to
Mhm.
secure her and her tribe of the victory. And then, and second episode, this is where Maya starts really implementing how she wants to take over the Kingpin business by hijacking a cargo train. So one of the reasons why she also went back to Oklahoma, because one of the stops, one of Kingpin's managers is there, like keeping inventory of stuff is great, which is Maya's uncle. Um, so Maya employs the help of Biscuit to help him, to help her kind of not necessarily steal, which is a nice thing. It is like she wants to bomb a Kingpin repository cargo hold by hijacking a cargo container, putting some bombs in it, and then having it explode at the end, where the depot where all of these illegal stuff happens with Kingpin.
That was
Uh,
actually a surprise. I like that. I didn't expect that to be the how it was going to be. Like I thought she was
I
stealing something or
actually,
something.
Yeah, because normally
yeah.
it's a train heist, right? Like,
Yeah.
Firefly
Mhm.
was a train heist. Yeah, even Breaking Bad was a train heist. This one is like, nope, I'm just planting a bomb.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
that,
it's like,
we skipped over Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, no, we did say that in first episode that one of the reasons why Kingpin caught her eyes, like she was able to kind of like go toe to toe with him.
Oh,
So that was kind of like a
that
big
that scene
compliment.
was amazing, bro. That like
Oh yeah.
Great fight choreo.
the
Again,
camera angles, the
Hmm.
Matt Murdock movement, like
Hmm.
everything, like even him like playing around with her. Not
Hmm.
I still like that they're focusing on him not moving his head because he doesn't need to, and even like the push up where he got kneed in the face. I think he fell and then immediately just pumped out. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
so in the first few episodes, and again across all the seasons, what I really appreciated is the use of Maya's leg, like
Hmm.
her
And
Her
prosthetic leg.
the
prosthetic
Like
leg.
turn
she did the
with the
slingshot.
snap kick.
Yeah.
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 She did the slingshot, like she'll grab her leg, lift it up, and then so like there's just a lot of like you really see that's the thing. They did a little too much in the series, but we appreciate the elements. Like if they
Yeah.
concentrated on just street level action, which we'll discuss here in a little bit, I would have preferred if they concentrated on the street level action and then
Hmm.
less of family drama mysticism. But that's me. And a lot
Hmm.
of
No,
people really appreciated that because how does like a deaf female amputee, you know, get this powerful, say?
Hmm.
So they kind of wanted to give her a little bit of like
so
that's which
so
will
yeah.
discuss.
Let's get into this. For
Yeah.
me personally, I'm with you. I'd love how I would have loved if they stuck with the street level. Um, and I'm thinking about it. I'm okay with her getting a power, but what I didn't like was which power they gave her. It's
Basically
like,
all.
Which is
it was
all. I
like, was
mean,
it
Yeah.
healing? Was it something
There's
else?
all.
healing, there's like tactical, and then there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so it kind of
She
makes
so
sense. It kind of makes sense in the way
like
they did
super
it,
strength.
because like
Yeah.
she's like an echo of everybody, and everybody
mhm.
had different
Echoes
things.
everything.
So
Yeah.
she had like
She was
access to
able to
all of it.
access it whenever
Yeah,
she needs it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So well, I guess thinking of it, it's okay right now. But the
Yeah.
problem was, I think that first fight with Daredevil
It's
it
just
was just
her.
peak. It was just too much, and that after
Too
that
good.
they
Like they
couldn't.
that was the
Yeah,
best fight choreo in the
they
I mean,
entire
couldn't
series.
it's kind
replicate
of
it.
like it's like the hallway scene with the first Daredevil
Yes,
season.
yes, it was
It's
close.
the
And I mean,
and
they did.
then
I
yeah,
did it pretty good in the episode 3 with the bowling thing. There was
yeah.
good
Oh yeah,
fights there too,
yeah,
but it was the climax fight that was really let down because of the power and
The
the way the
power.
editing. I
Well, but
understand how
also
they're trying to make it like the culmination of everything, but
yeah,
that took away from the street level fighting. They could still have used the
yeah.
power in a way, or the
It's
editing in a way that
well,
would have
I mean,
focused on the
I did
fighting.
mention, because they did mention that the budget was a bit cut. There was supposed to be like a sixth episode, so it's kind of like with Deadpool. They planned on a big set piece, a
and
lot of guns,
they
things, and
ran
then
out
like,
of
they ran out of
so
money.
it's like there's no guns, just
Like, oh yeah,
swords.
he left the guns in the taxi, so they have to be like improvised. So that's why like they kind of like had to pull the powers out from thin air, basically, right? But yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. We could have
But
used more action, like street level.
I also think it's because they're here's the curse of Marvel, right? Because it connects with too many other properties.
Hmm.
Like Kingpin was there, and then this was a vehicle. Like it seems like it's a vehicle on how they're setting up Kingpin to be the Thanos of the street level,
Yep,
right? They want
street
to set
level.
up Daredevil. So the last episode not only had to be action packed, but also address all of these things. And then how do you address all of these things without killing Kingpin or
Yeah,
making it or just like, oh, there's no Kingpin in the last episode, so he escaped. It was
yeah,
just like fighting all the henchmen. So this is
yeah,
kind of like, how is the last episode, how can it be defeating Kingpin but not defeating Kingpin?
yeah.
Right? So how can she defeat Kingpin, quote unquote, heal him,
Hmm.
right? Shift from the physical to the emotional trauma, but
Hmm.
also like, in effect, I'm looking at it's like this is the reason why, you know, Kingpin becomes even more
Powerful.
bad, right? Because
Yeah,
now becomes
Well,
like,
not more bad, more effective. I mean, if he
correct.
doesn't
effect.
have those hang-ups,
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
but
yeah.
yeah, and now it's like him being healed makes him like shit.
more
Now
success. He's gonna be harder to
more
stop.
successful bad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gonna
then it's basically healing him is now it's just him choosing to be Kingpin
Yeah.
versus, oh, I was
And
traumatized and blah
spread
blah
it
blah. Yeah,
in not only for in the underworld but also in
in
the
the
regular world,
politics,
politics, which
because
is
in the end credits, I mean, we're skipping way ahead, but the end credits scene, it's implied that Kingpin is going to be the mayor of New York.
it's gonna run for which is basically the the inspiration of Daredevil Born Again is like
Yeah.
Kingpin was the mayor, etc., etc. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean it works. But going back to just like we'll skip a lot of the middle episodes because a lot of the middle episodes again is just showing Maya's, why and how she was estranged with her family. If we haven't
Hmm.
discussed it yet, like the dad again, Maya's dad was a henchman,
William.
one of the top henchmen of Kingpin. He died.
Yeah.
If quick recap of Hawkeye or why Echo, Maya switched sides because Kingpin was the one that gave Daredevil the info about the dad, so that
Ronan.
Hawkeye, Ronin.
Ronan.
Ronan,
Ronan.
Hawkeye,
Yeah.
right? Ronan to kind of like wipe out that. So Kingpin used his dad in that particular branch of his facilities as a pawn for Ronin. Maya found out, so
No,
and
in
figured that
Kingpin, my interpretation is he wanted Maya for himself, so he had to wipe
oh,
out
Yeah.
that's another
the
thing too.
dad.
That mm. And so in you will see in the season that Maya's uncle took over, essentially taking care of the logistics of the bad stuff within
Mm.
his area. So when the hijacking and the bombing of the arms depot or the armory of Kingpin in that sector happened, you'll see the really cool uncle like, hey, how's our numbers? Was it, did we send stuff at the right time? Did we account for every single thing? So on his end, he didn't do anything bad. He
Mm.
got the stuff and sent it over. If something happened in between sending it over and the armory, that's not also. This is kind of like one of the things that we'll say. So initially, what's the name of the uncle? I forget.
Henry.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so oh
forgot.
yeah,
Henry.
Henry
Oh, you
Black
would
Crow.
remember.
Yeah,
I
Henry
would
Black
remember.
You
Black
would remember.
Crow. Initially was against Maya's taking over Kingpin or fighting Kingpin. But eventually, because we kind of see that Kingpin is alive and is trying to get back at anything, and they did kind of find out what had happened and where it had happened, so they kind
Mm.
of like narrowed it down into the Oklahoma Choctaw area. So it's like they're gonna get that. So uh, also, one of Henry's employees ratted out that Maya was there. So they
Vicky.
started kind of um, getting back at them and like taking Henry hostage, taking everybody that Maya holds dear hostage to draw Maya out so that, initially it was to kill Maya, but as we figured out towards like episode 3, end of episode 3, start of episode 4, was to have Maya become face to face with Fisk again.
Mhm.
So in between there was this, like I said, a bowling alley fight scene where Zane is the main henchman in that area by Kingpin, brought some goons, took Bonnie, Maya's best friend, or cousin,
Cousin.
Cousin,
Maya's cousin slash
sister,
best friend,
plus
um,
sister.
Yeah.
slash sister, person that she loved the most, but she was separated from, because that's the main part of it. The middle episodes will kind of like really deep dive into the reason why Maya left was um
Tula.
Maya's dad, working under Kingpin,
Or being
was
just a
in a
thug.
car. He's a thug, right?
Yeah.
But he um got into a car accident, and the car was Maya and Maya's mom, and Maya's
Yeah.
mom died, and that's the reason why Maya's grandmother could not kind of love her
Forgive. Yeah.
and the dad, because as a mom you lose your daughter. That's it. So that's when Maya and her dad moved to you know New York with the the head office of Kingpin and his goonery. And growing up, Maya and Bonnie were like best friends. So and that hurt both Maya and Bonnie that they left, but also even more so that Maya didn't want to see Bonnie when she come back, because I'm sure she didn't want to have Bonnie involved, but also she didn't want to deal with the idea that they've been away for so long. But in the end, Henry was used to draw out Maya, and then Deus Ex Machina. One of the things that I really really did not like about this season was the idea was kill Maya. Like Zane was given the order to kill Maya, but after the fun fight scene at the bowling alley, they finally
Mhm.
got Maya. They were gonna kill Maya, but of course, you get a phone call 5 seconds before he was about to shoot Maya. And
Yeah.
who's in
It's
the
a
other line? Kingpin's like, "Don't kill
it's
Maya.
a
We need to
That's
it's
talk."
a
a
Yada yada.
boss.
it's a cinema sense, right? Like
Yeah, but this was like they were doing so well,
I know.
making everything really realistic,
Yeah.
and then this,
So what
like.
if there was no signal? Like, oh, sorry, boss,
Or
I killed.
what if it was
No,
on
if there was no
vibrate and he
signal,
didn't feel?
then that guy is fucked. Once Kingpin finds out he killed
Exactly.
Maya, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that message should have been, kill everyone, but Maya
Maya.
survives. Maya is mine.
No, I think
No.
he wasn't
Or
awake
at least
yet.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
when he
Oh,
woke up.
that's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
like
true. Yeah.
perfect timing. That
That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Perfect timing though,
Um,
yeah.
But
So that's the iffy
yeah,
part.
so yeah, yeah.
yeah, and again, so I skipped over, but the flashback on episode 3 was a person named Tuklo. She is kind of like she wanted to be like a light horseman, which is like the Indian version of cowboys, like
Mhm,
sheriffs and deputies. She
mhm,
wanted to be light horseman, but she can't because she's a woman, yada yada yada. Men take lives, women give life, etc. etc. But in this episode, we'll see how Tuklo have became like the Annie Oakley of this episode. She had like
mhm,
super sharpshooter, super sense, and whatever, whatever. So next is episode 4. This is where, Fisk and Maya actually, connects, sits down, talk. We get that cool, very cool tech where
mhm,
Fisk Fisk has a contact lens, Maya has a contact lens. So
mhm,
whatever Fisk does, there's kind of like a hologram that
mhm,
Maya can see that
Mm-hmm.
kind of signs it.
mhm.
Super cool.
Super
Really
cool.
appreciate that.
I
Um,
wish it was real.
But
it
that
looks
was
real.
one of my favorite parts because uh that's my feeling also when I saw it, like, fuck, this is amazing. Fuck, he's awesome for doing this. And then we see Maya's point of view that you didn't even have an effort
Yeah,
to learn to sign. That
To
was
learn
like,
sign.
yeah.
So that's where I wanted to pause here. So one, specifically what you mentioned, like Kingpin wanted no intermediary and
Mhm,
develop this super tech so that they can converse. So he really wants to communicate. So that's a plus part. But as you mentioned, like you really want to communicate, but really don't want to communicate, right? It's
yeah.
like why just don't
You're
learn?
like,
The other
yeah.
thing about it too is like, I really appreciate the fact that as a storytelling device, it makes it a lot easier for them to speak without having like a weird lady whatever. So it's like it's visually really good. But
Yeah.
also juxtapose this statement where everybody, everybody in Maya's world in Oklahoma signs,
Mhm,
which is this is an aside. I just finished watching the latest episode of Queer Eye, and then one of the people that they did perfect timing was a
Jeff.
athletic
is
director for a deaf school,
Okay.
yeah.
right? And his thing was everybody, everybody is everybody finds it so difficult. Like even people with deaf kids, like parents with deaf
No, but
kids.
Mhm,
yeah, but for this one, I think you have to remember that the mom was deaf. So
mhm.
there, all of them.
Wait,
I
the mom was
mean,
deaf?
Yeah,
yeah,
she was
the mom
deaf.
was deaf.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Remember in
that.
the
Shit.
last scene, she was talking to the mom, the vision of the mom, and she was
Yeah.
signing as well. Or
Yeah.
in
The mom was
that
deaf.
scene before they got into the car accident, they were by the fireplace, and Maya was playing with Bonnie in the tent, and the dad and the mom were in the tent. I were in outside by the campfire, and
Yeah.
the
They're
grandma
still
was there,
signing.
and they were signing for the mom.
Yeah.
So because the mom
No,
was signing, there's already
I
people with the
proceeded.
background to sign.
No, yeah, I did not realize that the mom was deaf.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like two generations of people. Like, so just like
Yeah.
I'll move my comment one step above.
Yeah.
This the in real life, it's very very difficult for even the family members
Mhm,
of the disabled deaf person,
To
right?
learn.
To learn sign.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
it's usually the deaf person who will adjust. Like I will have cochlear implants. I will learn how to
Mhm,
lip read, right?
mhm,
So that was like the Queer Eye episode that see like he was so passionate, like the subject was so passionate about like yeah, there's very very few like schools for deaf people are less and
Really.
less because
Mm.
you just want to put cochlear implants and get them to regular school. Everybody wants them to be regular instead
mhm,
of celebrating the fact of their disability. So this more it's like a giant juxtaposition. Like look at Kingpin, like has an interpreter by his side the entire time. And then the entire town, fucking Bonnie learn how to sign, the uncles learn how to sign, fucking grandparents learn how to sign,
mhm.
parents learn how to sign. Everybody in that fucking town
Biscuits.
seems to be able to learn how to sign. It's like Oh, if I were Biscuit, like
Yeah,
Biscuit is like a just a random dude, right?
yeah.
That helps his
No, I
grandma.
think
So
she's a cousin. He's a
He's
cousin
a
also.
cousin. He's a cousin, but I mean,
But
in
I see
terms
your
of
point.
he's very laid back, and he also learned to sign. And then meanwhile, Kingpin, okay, like, well, we have a third person, and I don't really trust her, so he gets her killed.
mhm.
But I
No,
don't know
so I mean,
anything. I
it's
remember. I
it's
remember that scene.
like like when I saw the plastic on the wall, like, she's dead.
so
Yeah,
episode 5 is like the weird episode for me because this is a giant shift from the first 3 episodes where there was a lot of like street level brutal violence,
yeah,
fight choreography and shit, and then we drastically shift to instead of the
mystical
external
powers.
trauma, we look at internal trauma. So a
Definitely.
lot of it was, it's not only Maya that has gone through difficult things. We see why Fisk, his dad to
Hmm.
protect his mom, etc. And that's kind of like started
That was in
the
Daredevil, right?
this
Where he killed his dad.
what
That was in Daredevil.
I forget. I
I
forget.
think
I
it
forget.
was.
I think it was either season two of their.
I remember seeing like the flashback of the kid
The hammer.
Daredevil and him, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
going to
so like
town.
the idea of it is like, all right, we're setting up all of our traumas, all of the things that made us who we are for episode 5. And this episode 5 is also where kind of Fisk's gives Maya the choice to become Queen Pin, to have her own empire. All
Yeah.
she has to do is come back to Fisk, right?
Yeah.
Make
I think I,
Fisk
I I
her
think
family.
his plan was to stay dead, to lay low, and then Maya's the face of the company, or the company. Yeah, basically.
Good call. I
Yeah.
thought the same, but I rewatched 4 and 5, and I realized it wasn't as explicit.
Hmm.
You could interpret it as you could just have your own empire, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, all right, you could be branch 2, I'm branch 1.
Mm.
So again, he's a really good businessman. He knows how to
Yeah.
franchise, so it's great.
Yeah.
So
His
that, but
franchise.
also the other idea too is like, being dead has its perks,
Yeah.
right? So that's another thing too. So, um and coming to episode end of
Yeah.
episode 4, start of episode 5, Maya did not want to take it over. She wants to be her own person, etc., be good, whatever that means.
Mm.
So episode 5 is basically Kingpin infiltrating the town again, being able to hostage Chula, the grandmother, everybody else, Bonnie, Henry, and
Bonnie.
everything.
Yeah.
They were going to, again, also the end of this one I'll accept, like, oh, good timing. There's a giant powwow
Yeah.
around the time that Maya came back to town, around the time that Kingpin was able to recover. But there's this giant powwow where everybody in the Choctaw Native American region, Native American descent in the Oklahoma area will be doing a giant celebration where, okay, Kingpin and his goons will kind of like kill everybody here, yada yada yada. Okay, so big fight in the powwow festival. Henry again kind of was able to like stop a bazooka,
Hmm.
Well,
like
he shot the guy,
No,
so
he shot the guy,
he shot Zane.
yeah,
and then of course, like shot Zane, bazooka goes up to the sky, it explodes. People think like,
fine.
yay, firework! Come on,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
get better.
party. That's how we
It's a
would
It's a
party,
think.
party.
but
Yeah.
a bazooka explosion does not look like a firework.
Well, it didn't look like a firework, but they
I
Yeah,
know, but
because
I'm
they
just
ran
saying.
out of budget. So it's
they,
just like
they just
it was a dud.
um, and this is where, the simple of the matter, like there's a big warehouse fight where Maya was trying to free her family
Mhm.
under Fisk's capture. But in the end, instead of killing Fisk, good fight scene, whatever, instead of killing Fisk, Maya was able to tap into the
Yes.
echoes of these women of the past with special
Yeah.
powers. And she was able to fill in a little bit, like use a little bit of each and every person's power to um kind of like save everybody. So
Mhm.
she was able to like use the burst of low action, and then the most important one, her mom was a healer. There was also a
Mhm.
flashback where her mom was able to heal this bird that Maya shot with a BB gun, and she used that power using little finger signs on Kingpin to heal his inner pain, and that's what
Yep.
um incapacitates
Yep.
Kingpin, and Kingpin
Yep.
leaves, etc., etc.
Maya did the Tsunade. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100%, like, lay of hands and in D&D
Mm-hmm.
terms.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and yeah, that's
She's a fighter and a cleric, huh?
uh, yeah. So that is essentially
Echo.
Echo. We have a post-credit scene about Echo doing her thing, but stopping by family. So it seems like, all right,
Yeah.
she was able to no longer be estranged, connect with her grandmother and Bonnie and everybody, had a little
Yeah.
lunch before, assuming she'll be on her way. But also the post-season mid-credit scene where we see Kingpin in his a private jet seeing a news article about
Yeah.
how New York has no mayoral candidate, or no real mayoral candidate, and
Yeah.
they need somebody that has like that could brawl to win this
Yeah.
thing. Ding ding
So,
ding. That's
so
where
question for you, Jong, as a New York resident, would you vote for Fisk?
Fuck
fuck yeah.
yes.
Number one.
I knew it.
I'm
Yeah.
not even from New York. I'd vote for
I need
Kingpin.
somebody that one gets things done, highly
I
organized, highly
mean,
motivated.
Highly
considering
respected.
what's happening in New York right now, yeah, a Fisk will be good right now.
I think it was a perfect timing in terms of all of these things. But yeah, all right. With that, let's just go around the table, give our ratings, and then just the other thoughts too. Like what Chewbacca's mentioned in terms of the power set and set.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, my only the thing that I still cannot reconcile is about the power.
Mm-hmm.
it I like the idea that you're drawing from
Mm-hmm.
your ancestors, so you're
Yep.
kind of like lifting the culture a lot more about their
Mm-hmm.
mysticism and everything. It is Marvel. A little bit of superpower is great too. So
Mm-hmm.
even in Daredevil, like Daredevil has a little bit of power, Iron Fist
Mm-hmm.
has a little bit of power, Luke Cage has a little power, and
Yeah.
Jessica Jones
Jessica
has a little
Jones.
power,
Yeah.
but it's still there's still street level. It's not like this world breaking power. So I really appreciate that. I just think that I was not a big fan, but like I was very, very into the comic book Echo, where
Taskmaster,
just a
basically.
good just a good fighter.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she could copy people.
Yeah, but
My
yeah,
Yeah,
first
it,
my
Kakashi.
first introduction to Echo was in New Avengers. Um Bendis took over Avengers comics for the first time, and he has a new lineup, and it was Cap, Iron Man, Spider Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, Doctor Strange, and then they were recruiting Daredevil. And then Daredevil said, "No, I stay here, but I'll send somebody." And he sent Ronin, and he
Mm,
looked like
wow.
a guy. And then when he took off, and he wasn't talking for the first few issues, and then in the end, like he took off his mask, and it was Echo.
I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, so
So
Kakashi and so now, even like the symbol that they use is like Kono.
it is the Naruto seal.
Yeah, Naruto seal. Yeah,
Um, but
but
yeah,
yeah,
I kind of still wish that they were able to work in the idea that, because it seems to me as they wanted to justify how a woman with disability, too many disabilities, could be this good, right? It would have been nice if we were
yeah,
able to see like she's she's deaf, she has one leg, but she still fucking kicks everybody's ass. It
yeah,
would have been nice, but I
But for
understood too.
me, I don't know, because the problem with the power is like she already was badass without it. She was
yeah,
going
yeah,
toe to
yeah,
toe
yeah,
with Daredevil. There's no need to
yeah,
power her up. But let's see if they have plans for her. And then
yeah.
But it
Like,
seems like that they were retro
yeah,
fitting it. Like the reason why that she's such a good fighter is because X, Y, and Z, right?
yeah.
So yeah, well, and Arnie, thoughts, big
Well,
special notes before we drop our
I mean, I did see a meme before, like how Daredevil and Echo would communicate because he's blind, so he can't signal.
The
And
blind and
she's
the
deaf, so she
deaf.
can't hear. But anyways, out of the Marvel series, TV series, I mean, I like this. It's like it's I guess I'll give it a eight now, a nine, a solid nine, just for the first three episodes. Uh, the powers did take away from her badassery, but I guess it's also to basically make sure that her background as a Choctaw nation would be respected. So they not really have to, but they included the power sets. And also, if they plan on adding Kahuri from the What If, so maybe that could also be tied into that as well.
yeah, maybe Kahori is like the
But she's a
ancestor
different
of
tribe, right? Was she Choctaw
Different
also?
tribe, but yeah, I
Okay.
think it's a different tribe. But
different tribe.
if they're planning to add her, because she's a new character, right? For What If,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A
so if
great
they
new
plan to add
character.
her in live action, they could also add Maya as part, like maybe a partner or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid start. I kind of wish that they got the original budget that they were supposed to get. So maybe that would have helped maybe integrate the power set better, or maybe continue with more street level fight scenes. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think they used Daredevil enough, but a little bit like wanting you to have more, but not too much that it takes away from Maya. So yeah, and if they new series, if they have to add to lessen the homework, and I'm also looking at you, Star Wars, you could, yeah, that's the best way to do it, the first episode, like, add some scenes to basically as an exposition for the newbies, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a solid series. I mean, yeah, again, I wish that they had the budget, and I'm even fine with the all the episode drops, so it's not even like a week to week.
Yeah,
So
I
It's
really
been a while since we
actually
had a binge.
I enjoyed that.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, like, up and coming, we have Bad Batch coming in the last season. That's like 12 weeks, so that's you know. But yeah, but I appreciate dropping the all the episodes. Although yeah, there are some drawbacks. You don't get to flesh out. Not a lot of fan theories and all that, but you can't please everybody.
I think this was a perfect series to drop it all in one go because again, it's mostly action. It
Mostly
has
action.
some depth in it, but
Yeah.
it's not like we don't have to think about it. It's shown to us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Plus it's only 5 episodes. Like,
mm,
and the thing is, one of those shows, because of the ASL, you really have to pay attention. Uh, you know, so you really have to listen to Maya or what's her name?
Alakwa
Alakwa.
Alakwa.
Cox.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not something that you could play in the playground, in the background.
Mm.
So that's good. Yeah.
Before I pass it on to Box, I'm giving it an 8. This is kind of again, I don't think I will ever have a stance on the power or not. Like,
Hmm.
because I shift. Like, maybe no power would have been great. Maybe power would have been great. Either
Yeah.
way, I like the representation. Alako Cox was dope. Fight scenes were mostly great. It
Yeah.
knocked it. I dropped it a touch. Like, for it could have been a 9, but I dropped it because it was a weak ending. Not bad at all. It was just a weak ending. And
Yeah.
I think CHUBAX was able to kind of like summarize that really correctly with the best fight scene was in the first episode,
Yeah.
right? So that I didn't realize, like, now I really thought about it. It's like that's the reason why I find like it's like second episode, all right. Bowling scene, mm, warehouse scene at the end at the powwow. I was like, oh, because like we saw like a super cool fight scene at the start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am looking forward to where they take Echo as a character. I would love for like Chewbacca, like I would love for Echo to become Ronin at some point in the future.
I'm sure they're gonna do that.
Join the Defenders.
It's in the legacy.
Right.
Mhm.
So it would be nice. That would be super cool. And then yeah, the reason why I have this really high as well, on top of the action, the story, the inclusion, the
Mhm,
diversity of everybody doing ASL,
Mm-hmm.
and it not being taken away from the season of the episode. This, given the fact that you do have to pay attention a little bit, right?
mhm.
Or a little bit more than normal, because if you're just listening to it and you're not watching it, you're not only hearing half of the
Half the conversation.
conversation,
Yeah.
right? So the answer, you don't know the question. So that was really, really good. But more importantly, it made me excited about Daredevil Reborn.
Born again.
Like,
And
if they
is Maya young enough to be in the Young Avengers? Just tying
I
in with
think
Kate
so.
Bishop from
Even
the
though she's like
yeah, I
Marvels,
mean,
right?
like, you're close enough to Yelena.
Okay. Yeah,
they
because
did have a
remember,
fight.
we never discussed the Marvels, but yeah, in one of the scenes there, Kamala was
Oh yeah,
recruiting Kate Bishop.
recruiting Kate.
So since they're all in New York, what if?
What
You
if?
know?
I mean, I do like that idea. It made me excited about Daredevil Reborn.
Hmm.
Not about the story, because I don't know the story. Not, it's 18 episodes versus one, but like for me, it's like, oh, Marvel can do really decent street level action.
Hmm.
Like, this was really good. Like, if they can
Yeah.
just maintain episode one for 18 episodes, like, if every episode there's a little fight scene and then it builds up to whatever. Okay, I
Yeah.
like that formula.
Yeah.
It is not quite as tight as Reacher, but Marvel isn't as simple and straightforward as Reacher. So, but
Yeah.
I think, I'm excited for the future of this. I'm really curious to how Daredevil Reborn will be. Is it too high for everything that I've heard? It's all about like case, like mission of the week.
I wouldn't
Oh,
mind that.
good.
Which Yeah, so which
Yeah.
which appeals to me, because I'd be more concerned whether they're going to tie in 18 episodes worth of arc, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully it's just like beat by beat.
I mean,
Okay,
18 episodes for one season is
one season.
kind of unheard of these days, unless you're
We see a
animation.
lot of tens, we see a lot of 12s,
Yeah.
not anything more. So that's why
Uh,
I'm very, very curious
I
on
mean, put it
they
this
will
way.
have a lot of time
Put
then.
it
So
this
they
way.
will
One Division was 6 episodes, so that's 18 episodes. That's like what, 6 times 3. That's
three.
three seasons worth of episodes in one season for Daredevil.
And that's why I'm curious on how they're gonna handle it. So, Chubax,
Yeah.
how was your rating and your final thoughts?
Yeah, I'd give it an 8 as well. It like first 3 episodes were more of a 9, and then tapered off
Yeah.
at 7 for the last two. But everything about Maya and the Kingpin was those
Mm.
two brought it. So I'm really happy and excited. I hope we get more Echo, and well, we're gonna get more Kingpin. So that's
Yeah.
amazing already. So yeah, that's it.
Those are our ratings and thoughts about Echo season one. Maybe it's a one-off. Maybe there's a season two. We'll know. But overall, a positive sentiment. Like, Marvel shows, Marvel movies has been down, or a little slump. Not gonna say that it's bad, but it hasn't hit the highs that it has before. So it's good that we are still entertained by all of this. Thank you very much for watching. We will be discussing cinematic masterpiece in our next episode. So be sure to watch Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom with us, and then discuss what you thought or what you think about that masterpiece in our next episode. But with that, on behalf of Chubax and Arnie, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.